Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to put together something content for you guys today to show you how to relax and vacation year round. This is what it's all about. I'm just loving life. But I will say one thing. It sure is hot here in the state of Florida today. I was watching the news this morning and they saying that it's gonna feel like 104 all this week, which is good. I'd rather be in a cold weather. Well, no, I ain't gonna say cold weather. I'd rather be in a hot weather climate than somewhere extremely cold. You can't go outside. You can't really enjoy yourself. You got on a whole bunch of clothing. But here in the state of Florida, which is bearable year round, you know, I just love it, man. You get to chill out and relax. So the theme of this video today is how to vacation year round. I love this. Don't get me wrong. I've been in places where it was cold. 20 years in the military, um, living in Germany, where you could see 3, 4 seasons in one day. Rain. I was in Grafenwöhr, which is the training area in Southwest Germany. I seen it snow, rain, and the sun come out in the same day. But that was years and years ago. I still go to Germany on vacation um, every year or every other year, and the weather is a little bit different. But I love it. I love it. Um, Still being a young man, getting to enjoy the fruits of my labor at a young age. You know, Making good decisions in life is paramount when you get a little age on you. If you make good halfway good decisions in your younger years, you get to live out your older years, chilling, relaxing, not having any struggles, because we all know you make bad decisions, you're gonna have a lot of struggles throughout your life. It's enough going on already that have to deal with a whole bunch of turmoil, and now you don't have any options to do anything else. But nowadays, it's all about me and my wife enjoying life, and that we going to do. Cause I seriously remember those days where we going to the field 45 days to a month, maybe 2 months, you know, sleeping in a tent. For those of you that was in the military, GP medium, you know what that is. You know, um, I'm glad those days are over with. I'm glad that I done it in them younger years. You tell me where you can work from the age of 18 and retire at the age of 38, other than in the military. That's 20 years. And you're not even 40 years old yet. And depending on what you've done throughout those 20 years, will determine whether or not you have to work or not. You know, Investments. in those younger years, you out there partying, you out there, you make $100, you spending $105. You living in the barracks, so you ain't got to worry about no rent. You on a meal card, so you can go to the dining facility and eat 3 square meals a day. You know, once you make staff sergeant E6, now you start thinking about, man, what have I saved? What have I invested? Then you look back, I got a lot of memories, but I ain't got very much invested. Then you start focusing on that. Imagine if you would have started focusing on investments when you was a private. And even if you just invested $50 a month, and every time you got promoted, you would increase that. Imagine where you would be after 20 years of doing that consistently. But in those younger years, you don't be thinking like that. You be, hey, I got the party, I got to go get me some beer, some alcohol. You better not be doing no drugs, because the military don't play with that. And by all right, they shouldn't. But you out there in that party life, single guy, hey, you got it going on. But as you get older, you get smarter. Then you look back on all the money that you don't just thrown away. You got a lot of memories, but hey, you need a balance between good memories and your investment, because that investment is what's going to take you through to those later years where you get to floss like me or better. But I made a few good decisions in life, and I'm trying to reap the benefits of those decisions. And I try to shed some light on, other young people that, would help them. It's all about helping each other. If you know something that's beneficial to someone, it ain't costing you nothing to tell them. Once you done shared that knowledge to them, it's their decision if they want to make a move on it or not. You know what I'm saying? Um, I feel that I would have done my part by, sharing that knowledge or that know-how on the things that I've learned along the way, to help you. My kids, my daughter joke me all the time when I start talking about compound interest. She been hearing that since she was in middle school. Compound interest, compound interest, you know. But now, years and years later, she understand about investments, and she took heed to my little compound interest speech all the time, and she's doing really well. It's never too late to start trying to invest. Never too late. I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I learned from trial and error, and I wanted to prevent my daughter from learning about investments like that. You know, I screwed up a lot, not getting in trouble, but I screwed up a lot of money in my younger years. I wanted my daughter to learn not to do that. You know, still enjoy life. You can't just invest everything and not enjoy. You got to have a even balance, where you do a little enjoying, and you also um invest. And as the years go by and you get promotions on your job, you're not used to spending that money anyway. So let that money play a role in your financial future. You're not used to it anyway. So as you get promoted, take the promotion money and invest it. And then once you in your 50s and 60s, you look back on all of that extra, extra monies that you got, and now you let your money make money for you. Let your money work for you, not you work for your money. In your younger years, you was working for the money. In your older years, your money should be working for you. I think that's a pretty good lead in to become financially free. You know, why wait until you 60 years old to go try to buy a house? You know, some people decide to do that. Ain't nothing against people that want to live in an apartment and all that. Hey, you do what you have to do. But why, when you get 60 years old, you want to buy a house? You know, unless you coming in there with a boatload of money and you finna just buy the house and not have payments. Because imagine you 70 years old and you got a $2,000 or $3,000 a month mortgage payment, and most mortgages are for 30 years. I can't imagine being 80 years old and struggling with a $2,000 or $3,000 mortgage payment, let alone the upkeep that goes along with owning a house. Because if you own a house, your work is never done. It's always something to do. I take me for instance. Last week, I had it had been like 15 years or so. I had the screen people to come out and rescreen my whole pool enclosure. You have to do that here in the state of Florida to keep the mosquitoes out. When you want to sit outside or whatnot, because the mosquitoes will tote you away. You know, but I had the pool screens rescreened yesterday. I had my painter. He came out and he repainted, put me a fresh coat of paint on my pool deck, so everything is freshly painted. You know, last year I got the house repainted because the sun will fade your paint. It start to look a different color as the paint get older. So you got to keep that going. Keep your stuff looking good. You got to. You know, but so it's always something to do if you got a house. Always. And you know how you women are. You guys, y'all. I don't like this. I want these type floors. I want this room painted this color, and I want this. I want that. And men, we don't really care too much about it. Just long as everything is clean and looking nice, we don't care. We let y'all run with it. We just provide the money. But hey, that's how life is. Hey, everybody enjoy. Enjoy. But anyway, I'm finna go inside here and grab me some iced tea. Come back out here, and I get with you guys again in a few. Oh, let me go get my drink. If it wasn't so hot, I'd be having me an old glass of Macallan, but too early right now and too hot.